ولا
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا وذليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Dua for today. Allahumma waffiqni fihi limawafaqatil abrar. Allah, in this month, bless me to agree with the good. Wajannibni fihi murafaqatal ashrar. Keep me away from associating with the evil. Wa'awini fihi birahmatika ila dar al-qarar. And accommodate me in your mercy to the permanent abode. بإلهيتك يا إله العالمين, by your godliness, O the God of the world. Now the topic that we have for tonight, it's Ayatul Kursi. Ayatul Kursi, which is the ayah number 256 onwards from Surah Al-Baqarah, which starts Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum la ta'khudhuhu sinatun wa la nawm. The first phrase of it means Allah, there is no God but Him is the living one, the all-sustainer. Neither drowsiness befalls Him nor sleep. Lahu ma fis samawati wa ma fil ard. To Him belongs whatever is in the skies and whatever is on the earth. Man dha alladhi yashfa'u indahu illa bi'iznih. Who is it that may intercede with him except with his permission? يَعْلَمُ مَا بَيْنَ أَيْدِيهِمْ وَمَا خَلْفَهُمْ. He knows what is before them and what is behind them. That is, He knows the past, He knows the future. وَلَا يُحِيطُونَ بِشَيْءٍ مِّنْ عِلْمِهِ إِلَّا بِمَا شَاءَ. And they do not comprehend anything of His knowledge except what He wishes. وَسِعَ كُرْسِيُّهُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. His seat embraces the skies and the earth. وَلَا يَؤُودُهُ حِفْظُهُمَا وَهُوَ الْعَلِيُّ الْعَظِيمُ. And He is not wearied by their preservation, and He is the all-exalted, the all-supreme. Beautiful Ayatul Kursi from ayah number 255 until 257 of Surah Al-Baqarah. Now the virtues and the fadila of this Ayatul Kursi says that Ayatul Kursi is the light of the skies. It is the treasure of the throne, the Arsh. It is a protection in the travels and journeys, and it is the peak of the Holy Quran. And it was the Prophet's recital before going to bed. In Ayatul Kursi, man is never afflicted by being with Ayatul Kursi, reciting it. And for financial matters, Ayatul Kursi is very effective. Everything is encompassed in this ayah, the skies and the earth. And Ayatul Kursi removes fright and attracts the Almighty Allah's help. Reciting Ayatul Kursi at night, the Almighty Allah appoints an angel to protect you until the morning. Now, in the riwayat, we do find that if you have an eye ache, don't say that to anyone. Instead, recite Ayatul Kursi, you will be cured. And the Prophet has said Ayatul Kursi distances Iblis from that house, ousts and removes magic and every evil of that kind. Ayatul Kursi is the column of the throne of Allah, and reciting it, one does not worship anyone but Him, the Almighty. Ayatul Kursi increases one's ilm, one's intellect, and revives one's mind. And all these fadail that are mentioned for Ayatul Kursi, reciting Ayatul Kursi 41 times at Maghrib is very effective. It eases grief, it grants shifa, cure, and attracts the mercy and bestows good eyesight. Now, these were some of the fadail that are mentioned regarding Ayatul Kursi. Now, the thawab of reciting Ayatul Kursi before going to bed, also the Prophet reporting from Imam Riza alayhi salatu wasalam, يقول من قرأ آية الكرسي عند منامه لم يخف الفالج إن شاء الله. One who recites Ayatul Kursi before going to bed should not fear of paralysis, inshallah. And one who recites it after every salat, no poisonous creature can harm him. That is again another virtue that we have for Ayatul Kursi. Now, why is this ayat named as Kursi? Because of the word Kursi in this ayah, the Prophet named it as Ayatul Kursi. Riwayat state that this ayat is like the peak of the Quran, has the highest rank in the ayat of Quran, and there is a lot of emphasis in reciting the ayat. Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, after hearing all of these fadail of Ayatul Kursi, he says that not a night passed on me but that I recited it, this Ayatul Kursi. And in this ayah, this Ayatul Kursi, the name of Allah and His attributes have been mentioned 16 times. For this reason, it is known as the slogan of the message of Tawheed. Although in the Holy Quran these slogans of Tawheed have been mentioned in different contexts like La ilaha illallah, sometimes La ilaha illa huwa, La ilaha illa ant, La ilaha illa ana. In none of these contexts that the slogan of Tawheed has been mentioned, it has been mentioned like in Ayatul Kursi. In Ayatul Kursi, His attributes have been mentioned. The attributes of Allah, they are of two kinds. There are these attributes known as Sifat Zat or Ain Zat. Those are those attributes like Ilm, Qudrat and Hayat are the Sifat Zat of the Almighty Allah. And then He's got Sifat, that is attributes of action. Sifat Fi'l like Khalq. Khalq, He creates. Afu, He forgives. Now these attributes of action are the irada, the intention of Allah. If He intends, He creates. If He intends, He does not create. If He intends, He forgives. If He does not intend, He does not forgive. So this does not apply to the Sifat Zat that were mentioned as the attributes of essence or His existence. That if God intended, He wanted, He would know, and if He does not intend, He does not know. It doesn't apply like that. In Sifat Zat, the three attributes of Allah, that is Ilm, knowledge, Qudrat, might, and Hayat, His life, they are part and parcel of His existence. You cannot remove them from the existence of Allah. That is why they are known as Sifat Zat or the Ain Zat. And if we want to compare the Sifat Zati, we can say Allah being Alim and Qadir is like the makhluk being makhluk being of man. That is, man can never not be a makhluk. Man is always a creation of God. Just like ilm and might, they cannot be removed from Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. This being a creation of God that cannot be removed and dissected from man. He's always a makhluk, always a creation. God, when we say, it means God, Allah, who is alim, who always knows, who knows. God, Allah, who is qadir, Allah, who is hayy, who is living. So I cannot take away life, ilm or qudrat from the existence of God. But from me, it can be taken away. I know something now. I may have a stroke. Whatever I know, it's gone. So that ilm is a top up to my existence. Hayat, I have a life now. Malakul Maut comes and visits, I'm gone. So that hayat is also gone. I have an ability, I can raise my hands, I can do stuff. But if I have a stroke or a heart attack or something happens, that ability is also taken away. So ilm, qudrat, hayat, for me, it is a top up for the existence of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. They are part of His existence and it has to be with Him. Now the term ilah that was mentioned here, Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum, ilah applies to every God, batil or haq. Quran has an ayah, it says, أَفَرَأَيْتَ مَنِ اتَّخَذَ إِلَهَهُ هَوَاهُ. Have you not seen him who takes his own desires as his own God? So ilah can be anything, haq or batil. Now, Allah is the name of the existence of Allah, and all other lords, they are unable to create a fly. If all the gods they were put together, they were asked to make one fly, none of them can do it. All of them also united, they cannot do it. Quran says, لَن يَخْلُقُوا ذُبَابًا. That is, they cannot even create a fly. So those who worship others apart from God, from the height of Tawheed, they have fallen in the scary, painful valleys of destruction. Quran says, وَمَن يُشْرِكْ بِاللَّهِ فَكَأَنَّمَا خَرَّ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ فَتَخْطَفُهُ الطَّيْرُ. Whosoever ascribes a partner to Allah is as though he has fallen from a height, then his corpse is devoured by vultures. Now here in Ayat Al-Kursi says, Allahu la ilaha illallah, Allahu huwa al-hayyul qayyum. So this la ilaha illallah that we have is the first page of the ID or the identity of an individual. So the first page of the ID says La ilaha illallah. And this was the slogan of the prophetic invitation as well. Rasulullah says, Qulu La ilaha illallah tuflihu. You will be prosperous. Just say La ilaha illallah. In a hadith says, Man qala La ilaha illallah mukhlisan dakhal al-jannah. Whosoever says La ilaha illallah sincerely enters the heaven. Wa ikhlasuhu biha an tahjuzahu la ilaha illallah amma harram Allah. And the sign of his sincerity is that his saying that La ilaha illallah will keep him away from that what Allah has made haram. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says, Qawlu la ilaha illallah thamanul jannah. This mere La ilaha illallah, the recital, is the price of the heaven. Elsewhere in a Hadith Al-Qudsi, you've heard it famously from Imam Riza alayhi salam, Kalimatu la ilaha illallah hisni. That Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala has said, this La ilaha illallah, the kalima of Tawheed, is my strong fort. So faith in the one God, it belittles, it diminishes every power, every might, and every attraction. One of the educational examples a Muslim we get from this La ilaha illallah is that a Muslim, he never bows before any king or any ruler or anyone powerful. The Muslim refugees in the palaces of Najashi, the king of Habasha, when they were there, and everyone bowed down before the king of Habasha, but the Muslims, the refugees, they did not. They said, La nasjudu illa lillah. We do not bow down but before Allah. The sajda is only for Allah. Or for example, another example, Dahiya Kalabi, one of the other Muslims in the palace of Qaisar, the Roman emperor, he also did not bow down before the king. And there, amidst all the royalties and royals, he said, La asjud li ghayrillah, that I do not bow down for anyone but Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala. So Tawheed, it takes man so high that hell and heaven, they do not matter for him. Likewise was the case with the Imams and the educated people that don't work for the hell and the heaven. And then the same thing is seen in the teachings of Amir al-Mu'mineen. He says, La takun abda ghayrik wa qad ja'alaka Allah hurra. Don't be a slave of another once Allah has made you free. So that freedom is sought by this La ilaha illallah. when we say Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum. So Muslims, they should recite the azan loud, voice of free, because it's the voice of freedom, servitude and worshipping the only God. And also this azan in the ears of a baby, before anything else, the azan has to be said because that la ilaha illallah be heard by the baby first. So here in this Ayatul Kursi starts with Allahu la ilaha illa huwal hayyul qayyum. So we talked a little bit about la ilaha, and now huwal hayy. Huwal hayy means him is the living one. And if you want to know a definition of this huwal hayy, inshallah tomorrow or after tomorrow you will be reciting it in the night of Qadr in the Jawshan Kabir, in the 70th segment of this beautiful dua. It says, Ya hayyan qabla kulli hayy, Ya hayyan ba'da kulli hayy. O living before every living, or living after every living. Ya hayyul ladhi laysa kamithlihi shay. O living whose like is none. Ya hayyul ladhi la yusharikuhu hayy. O living who has no partner living. Ya hayyul ladhi la yahtaju ila al-hayy. O living who does not need any living. Ya hayyul ladhi yumitu kulla hayy. O living who kills every living. Ya hayyul ladhi yarzuqu kulla hayy. O living who nourishes every living. Ya hayyan lam yarith al-hayata min hayy. O living who has not inherited life from any living. Ya hayyul ladhi yuhyi al-mawta. O living who revives the dead. Ya hayyu ya qayyum la ta'khudhuhu sinatun wa la nawm. O living, O self-subsistent, neither slumber seizes him nor sleep. So the definition of hayy in Dua Jawshan Kabir, how beautifully it has been mentioned. So the meaning of hayy in the Almighty is different to other living. His is part of his existence, cannot be separated from his existence. Ceasing from existence is not for him. Termination and fana is not for him, and it cannot be possible for him. وَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى الْحَيِّ الَّذِي لَا يَمُوتُ. Quran says that you rely upon that living, الَّذِي لَا يَمُوتُ, who does not die. And in our living there is eating, there is drinking, there is reproduction, there is everything else exists in our living. But in the living of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala says, Ya hayyul ladhi laysa kamithlihi hayy. O living, there is no one living like him. Laysa kamithlihi hayy. So Allahu la ilaha illa huwal hayyul qayyum. That's the first ayah of the, inshallah we'll talk about qayyum tomorrow. وسبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم.